What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. Today we're taking a look at my wife's 2010 Lexus RX350, and a while back the door lock mechanism started messing up and the front ones actually went first. But let me warn you, if you've got one that's got around 100,000 miles on it, you know, it's from the 2010, 2012 era or before that, when they start failing, they're probably going to all fail relatively close to the same time frame. So if you're in there changing one out, you might as well change out all of them, or prepare to change out all of them, because they seem to go bad about the same time. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys, I've already done both front doors, but I wanted to show you guys what the process is like here. It's not that hard of a job. It's just you got to have the right stuff and you got to tickle it in just the right way to get it done without breaking stuff. So first thing we have to do is access all the screws. There are some screws that hold this door panel, or door card as some people call them. It holds this on. So we're gonna get in here. Oh, that didn't work. Well, crap. Let's see if we can make that thing stay on there. All right, take two. I don't know if I'll leave that in or not, but my GoPro mount fell off the side of the car there. So we have to get this switch pack thing here out without breaking anything. And sometimes you're better off to use a tool like this. It's got a little bit wider perch. There we go. And we just want to pop one of those clips out, and then the other one should come. It's held on by these guys right here. The trick is to get it out without breaking it. So I think for now we can unhook this. We might have to hook it back up here in a moment, but get that out of the way. And that shows us one screw right there. Hopefully you can see that. And underneath here, you're not going to be able to see this, but there's a little foam felt thing, or whatever you'd say. I don't know what this is made out of actually, but no, I'm not having luck with that. Let's try this. There we go. This thing here that needs to be cleaned, that comes out, and there's another screw down inside of there. And I'm trying to remember, where's the last one? Oh, there's another one up underneath this guy right here. So right behind the lock, or right in front of the lock. Let's see, this will do it. Yep. And then you kind of have to pull the door handle and pull that little switch out right there. Okay, so that's step one. Now we got to take all the screws out. And just kind of remember where they go. If you want, you can take pictures of it beforehand. Sometimes I do that myself when I'm not sure about something, because I can see it has different screws all over the place, or at least these two locations are different. Okay, I'm trying to get it out of there without dropping it down inside the door. Okay. But yeah, that was the one behind the door handle. That was the one underneath the electrical window switch there. And we got one more right here. Yeah, the hard thing about working on cars like this, to me, is keeping your grimy hands and fingerprints off of the light colored interior. That can be difficult. Okay, yeah. And that one's shorter and different. So we want to pay attention to all that. I'll just have to remember that one goes underneath the felt pad. That one goes in the white plastic. And that one goes behind the door handle. So set all those on the floor. Okay, so I think we're ready to start trying to pry this thing off. Make sure you guys have a good angle of this. But basically the way I do it is you just go down here on the bottom corner and kind of give it a quick jerking motion. You're not trying to tear it off. and tear stuff up. You're just trying to get those things to pop out. And we'll just go all the way around the door. There we go. Okay. It might be better to roll the window down. Let's try it. Okay, it doesn't roll all the way down into the door, but that should be okay. That should help us get this top seal off a little easier. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of delicately pushing up on this thing. Try to get it out of that channel up top. It's probably the hardest part of this gig, is doing that part right there. Okay. So now I'm gonna have to pull you guys in here. Okay, now that we got the door panel off, it's not, you know, you can't just take it straight off. You have to unhook some stuff first. So we're going to pay attention to how these go. The white one is on top, the green one is on bottom. But this is basically your door lock actuator lock mechanism. So when you reach in and manually push the lock like this, it moves that cable, right? So locked, unlocked, I believe, or maybe it was the other way around. Either way, we need to take that cable, both those cables out. The way you do that is you pull straight out on them and pop that out of the thing. Just pay attention to which way they go so you don't get them backwards when you're going back in on this thing. Okay, there's a little tiny speaker connection right here, so we hit that little clip right there. If I can do it one-handed, that'd be awesome. There we go. Okay, now there's one more thing connecting down here at the bottom, and we want to try to keep this panel clean and keep it off the dirt. I brought it outside so you guys could see better. Have better lighting out here. Let's see, how can I okay, there's a little clip right there. If I can push that clip and pull that at the same time, now our light is disconnected, our door panel is completely removed. So we're going to stop here for a moment. We'll come back and we'll start getting into replacing the actual door actuator. Yes, that's right, the actual actuator. Coming up. All right, we're ready to move on to step 2 of this process. After your door panel is removed, you need to take this guy off. Little bracket thing for your armrest. Again, just paying attention to how it went. That's the main name of the game here, is just remembering how to put everything back together. Okay, there's a plug right up in here. We're going to reach in there with our fingernail, unclip that, and pull that plug loose. Now we're going to start working on this stuff. We got to peel it back. And if you're careful about it, you can do it without ripping the stuff to shreds. Alright, again, just paying attention to how these go through the plastic. I think that'll be enough room, because where we're working is right back in here. I'm going to have to roll that window up now, though. Okay, that's one thing I don't like about working on these modern cars, is when you do this sort of stuff, if you don't have the key fob nearby, because it's a push to start type deal instead of putting a key in the ignition, it makes it much more of a pain in the butt. Like the lights were staying on, I had to turn the lights to off, and just going back and forth just to roll a window up and down on this thing, it gets a little bit interesting. Like you have to push the button 2 times, even though you're not putting your foot on the brake to make it start. Anyway, I'm sure you guys will experience that when you get to this point. It's a bit annoying, so be prepared for that. Okay, so this right here holds the bottom of the rear window track on and holds it in place. Make sure we're still filming here. Yep. So we're gonna have to take this bolt right here loose. It's a 10 mil. I didn't tell you these other ones. So far, everything's been a 10 millimeter bolt wise. So we'll take that loose and move that out of the way. That just gives us a little bit of flexibility inside there when it's time to take this actuator out. So we'll just take this loose. Come on out of there. Okay, and again, remember where it goes. That's the main thing. Okay, so now I'm going to have to bring you guys around to the back here, and we'll get our Torx fitting on, or Torx socket. That is a T27. Oh man, I'm going to have to get a 1/4 inch drive. All right, now we got our 1/4 inch drive ratchet. Let's pull you over here and show you how to take this actuator loose. Okay, so right back here on the back side, there are 3 T27. It even says it right there. I don't know if that's just a, no, that's a Z, my mistake. Yeah, you just take these out and get them out of the way. I'll go ahead and pull one out so you can see how long-winded they are, just so you'll know what you're getting into here. Okay, they're not very long, and I believe these are all the same, so I don't think you can put them in the wrong holes or anything like that. So let's go ahead and take this last one out. Just make sure, verify what I was saying is true. It is. They appear to be the same. So we're going to go ahead and take that last bolt out off camera. When we come back, I'm going to show you some of the stuff on the inside of the door, which is going to be challenging to say the least for me to get a good shot of that for you guys. But I want to show you what you're going to be facing just to get this thing out, because there's at least one more clip you have to take loose on the inside to manipulate this thing out. Okay, so this rear door, it actually works a little different than the front door. It's basically the same concept, but let me get you inside here. Okay, so we're going through the bottom hole. I had to pull this plastic back a little bit more so I can make it big enough for me to stick my head up inside there. And I got a pretty good sized cranium, so it was a big deal. Okay, so trying to get you a good shot of this thing. See that brown fork thing back there? On the front doors, it works a little different. There's like a little clip thing that you have to flip over, and it's a little white plastic clip thing that goes onto the rod. But on this door, it looks like it just slides down over that. So you have to make sure that when you put it back in, that you slide that actuator, that little arm, that pin that's sticking out there, has to go up in that fork. If it doesn't, your door handle is not going to work. And then you'll have to take it all apart and do it again. So that appears to be the only thing that's different. And one other thing I noticed that's different is on the front doors, I was able to grab this window channel and slide it down on the rubber. Let me pull you out here where you can see it and it'll make a little more sense. This window channel, there's a metal sleeve around the rubber. And on the front windows, I was able to slide that down and make it work. Make sure we're still going here. Yeah, we're still recording. Anyway, I was able to slide this down and give me a little bit more flexibility to get this thing out. But on this case, on this instance, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So now what we need to do is wiggle it off of that. We've got to pop it out of the socket here, and then it'll try to fall. And then it should be off of that fork in there. I'm not going to be able to film all that and show you, but I'm trying to explain it to you the best way I can. So we'll pop it in, drop it down, it'll come off that fork, and then we should be able to wiggle past. Even if I have to push this over a little bit, we should be able to wiggle past that guy right there. And the cables and everything are coming out with us. Okay, so we're already loose over there on the bolts, so we pop that over, slide it down a little. Now we should be clear of that little fork thing. And now it should just be a matter of wiggling it past that window thing, window channel. Maybe I have to go out through the bottom here. Okay, on this one, what you have to do is take the cables down underneath the window channel bracket, and then it's actually wider on the back side in between the channel and the outside of the door. Hopefully that makes sense, because we're going to have to do that in reverse order to get it back in. But there it is. There's the culprit. Apparently these things go bad after a while, and you got to change them out. So we're going to take this over to the bench here in a moment, and I'm going to have to take these cables out and put them in our new part, and I'll show you all that stuff when we get over there and get set up. All right, here's our part, and here's our part number for the passenger side rear door. I went with a Dorman part. I got it from Rock Auto and actually got a smoking deal on it, so highly recommend Rock Auto if you want to save money on your parts purchases. Here's the old one. So we're going to have to fiddle with these things a little bit here and figure out how to get that open. Looks like something like that, maybe. Is there a clip back here? It's been a while since I did these on the front doors. There's a little slot right there. Okay, there's a little slot down here, and when you pop that, it pops that out. At least partially. I could probably just pull it harder and make it go, but I'm trying to be delicate because I don't want to. What am I thinking? This is the old one that I'm replacing. I guess it doesn't matter. There we go. Just be rough with it. It's the old one. Okay, so now we're going to get our new one out, and we're going to make sure right quick that we're not backwards. We want to make sure we're putting the correct one. We're putting the cables in the correct one because there is a passenger and a driver side rear door, right? So, okay, now what we got to do is pop this cable up and out like that. And pop it in the new hole. Push it down. Make sure this groove lines up. Just like that. And snap that closed. Okay. And the good thing about having the new one in my hand is I can see how the old one is supposed to open up. Okay, so it looks like right here. Perfect. Okay, we're going to pop that loose just like the other one. The cable's a little bit different, so I guess you couldn't really put these in the wrong spot. But then again, I've seen people do some crazy stuff. Okay, so we'll put that right there. Get down in there. Everything looks good. Snap it closed, and now we're ready to reinstall. All right, we got the new one all fitted up with the new cables. We're ready to reinstall this thing, and I want to do it pretty quickly because I don't want to forget how I did it and how I wiggled that out of there. It's like a thing you wouldn't want to let sit around for a week while you know. So we go in on the back side behind that brace, behind that window sill brace, and then we just wiggle the wires underneath. And then move them up here where they go. Like that. Okay, now this next part is just a matter of feel and lining things up. I'm gonna have to reach into that hole, grab that unit and pull it up in here until these 3 holes on the back line up and until that foam thing goes inside of here where the plug plugs back in. So let's try that. And I want to have my Torx heads nearby so I can start them when we get there. Just looking at everything, making sure. Oh, and I almost forgot one major thing. I've got to make sure, and I bet you it didn't go in. I've got to make sure that fork went down over that metal rod there. So let me check that and see if we happen to get lucky. I doubt it. Nope, missed it by a mile. Okay, so I forgot about that, or nearly forgot about it. That would have been bad. Okay, now I was able to do that just by feel rather than sticking my head in there, but let me just verify by looking at it. Yep, my head's stuck in here now. All right, we got it. It's good news. All right, I should be done exploring inside the door panel. Now we can just line everything up and get things bolted back in, and we should be good to go. Go ahead and run these in. I don't remember what the torque specs are, but it's real low. It's like 4 pounds or something. I don't remember. It's real low. And just to make sure everything. All right, before the camera cut out on us, I was talking about tightening up these Torx bolts. You don't have to torque them down like Herculean tight. You just want about, I think they said like, it was either 4 or 12 foot-pounds. I can't remember, but not a whole lot. It's not even worth me getting my torque wrench out, to be honest, but we're just gonna finish this, or reassembling this thing, which is just the reverse order of the disassembly. So we're gonna put this window track channel bolt back in. Good and snug. We don't want to strip anything out. Now we gotta weave these things back through. Where did that one go? Right there. Should be near. Right here, okay. goes back through like that. Now we should be ready to stick this stuff back on. And if it's nice and humid and hot like it is right here for me, it should stick right on, no problem. But if you're doing this job in the winter time, you may have to get a hair dryer or a heat gun or something, or let the car sit out in the sun for a while before you do the job. That way this stuff will soften up, because it gets really stiff in the winter months. Okay, it feels stuck on there pretty well. Plug this back in, and I'm just doing a final inspection, making sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, I did. This guy right here has to go back on. How did it go? This way or that way? Can I tell from the plastic? Okay, looking at this screw here, it looks like it goes in from this side. It looks like it needs to go in that way. So I'm gonna put this on like this. I think this is the way. That's why you should take pictures. I had to go do something else when my camera battery died a minute ago. I had to go do a couple of other things, and it was just long enough for me to forget how that thing goes. And it just screws into some little plastic things in there, little plastic nubbins, so I wouldn't go crazy with it or you'll strip it out. Good and snug is all you want. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go grab the door panel while this plane flies over. So I'm remembering something as we go here about the front doors. I've got the door panel upside down here, but this rubber strip right here can really fight you. And there's a way, I'm trying to remember what the way is. Maybe you just reach in there with a screwdriver and pop those loose. I think that's it. Let's try it. Something like this. And that clip should pop out of there. I'm going to try it with this smaller screwdriver just to make sure. That first one did come out okay, but it didn't seem like it was that hard when I did it the first time. Yep, stand by. Problem is, I'm trying to do it here where you guys can see what I'm working on. Let me tilt the camera down a bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember them being that difficult. It seemed like I popped them right out on the front doors. There we go. It's just being stubborn, I guess. Okay. Now, we finally got that loose. So we're going to want to pay attention to which way that goes on the door. And then we can pop that off the rest of the way. And then what we're going to do is install this on the window or on the door first. Flip you back up here. So it went on this way. I'm just looking at the groove at how it goes down over the metal. Okay. And what that does, or what it's supposed to do, is help you get the door panel back on easier. So now that when you get up to the top section, instead of trying to hook it over the top, you just smack it in just like you do all the rest of them. So now I'm not going to be able to show you this, but we have to hook up all of those wires and the cable back to where it goes. And I remember the white one went on top. Okay, first I'm going to hook up this bottom light down here. Where the heck is it? Way over there. Okay. Just gonna find the spot there. Come on, go to your home. I got one more door to do, so I need to get done with this thing. Come on. Okay, it goes like this. I was trying to put it in the wrong way. Hopefully you can see that. Light came back on. That's a good sign. Now, somewhere up here, we've got another cable. And I don't think I want to put that on just yet. I'm just eyeballing to see if my plate came out right, and I think it did. I think if it was the other way, I wouldn't be able to reach that, where it goes there. Okay, so now we're going to take the white cable and connect it up on the top here, right there, and put it back in the slot that it lives in, right there. And same with the green cable. Stick it down in there and push it into place. Okay, so now that we're getting closer and tighter here, let's see, we got one more plug here and it wants to live right there. Now I'm just looking around, making sure I didn't miss anything. And of course, because it's so hot and I'm pulling on that wire, I moved my plastic rubber sticky stuff. Okay, so now it should just be a matter of lining everything up and sticking the door panel back on. Okay, there is a wire we have to pull up through here. Stay right there. For your window switches. And then we're just going to, will that stay there? Nope. Maybe it'll stay there. Then we just got to line everything up. Line the holes up that go into the door. Once you start getting them lined up, they should kind of fall right into place. I just felt it go just then. So we're going to smack that in. Just go all the way around. And I'm gonna have to clean my freaking handprints off of there. I thought I was keeping it clean, but okay. All right, I think we got it. Now just put the screws back in. Now remember this one, it goes into the where the handle is there. So we'll go ahead and get that one going. Good and snug, not too tight. You try to tighten these things up too much and that's how you start breaking stuff. Okay, we got another black screw that goes in here. And last but not least, don't forget any of these. Put this one back in right here. And again, a lot of these I can feel it. This one screws into plastic, so we're not going to go crazy with it. Just good and snug. Okay, that door panel feels secure. Now we're going to go ahead and get our switch. Plug that back in. Pop it into place just like that. We've got this guy here. There we go. Just let go of it and then you'll feel it snap in. And we've got this, but I'm actually not going to put that back in yet. I'm going to take it in and let my wife clean that out because I know if she saw that, she'd want to clean it. So now, the last thing to do, I'm going to grab the key just in case the door is locked. The last thing to do is we need to close the door, lock the door, unlock the door, and make sure everything's working the way it's designed to work. That's a good sign, it closed good. I like that, it opened good. Okay, so we're opening and closing just fine. And when this thing was out, when I had the bad one in there, you couldn't hear the door lock actuator even making any noise. So let's try lock. Door is locked. We'll try unlock. Door is unlocked. Now, I need to come in here real quick and wipe my grubby handprints off of it. I tried to keep it clean, but that's the problem, you know, with working on stuff like this, is once you get in there deep, you're going to get dirty. So just be prepared for that, especially if you're working on someone else's car or a customer's car. But yeah, pretty easy job. I bet you the dealer would charge you, let's just say your grandkids and their kids might be paying for it the way things are going these days. So appreciate you tuning in. If this helped you out, hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until then, we'll see you next time.